Hello, I'm Elisa Ferriggi from thinkautism.co.uk, and this week I'm going to talk to you a bit about a bit of a hot topic in autism, and that's eye contact. Children on the spectrum may have limited eye contact. This isn't true for everybody, but it may be due to a co-occurring visual issue. If you have a child that very clearly tends to avoid eye contact and the face, this is a sign that it may need to be checked. Now, not all children will have visual issues, but it's definitely something to rule out. If the child doesn't have a visual issue and their eye contact is still not as high as you'd like it to be, then it's often due to a lack of understanding the importance of non-verbal communication. Studies show that basically we give eye contact for a certain reason. There needs to be a reason as to why we do it. If we look at people in the eyes for too long or for no reason, it can often be quite an uncomfortable experience for the receiver. So some of the reasons why we might give eye contact is really to get information, and if we want information from somebody, then we can often get this from them non-verbally. So again, the child needs to understand that non-verbally you can gain information from people's faces, and that it's not just an auditory thing, it's not just something you hear. People tend to give more eye contact, not constant eye contact, but a bit more eye contact when they're listening to somebody. And now again, this is a tricky one because it's not true for everybody. Some people who may have sensory difficulties or challenges may choose to not look at somebody when they're listening because they need to hear it, and if they're looking, it might not be as effective. So this is for some people. Typically people tend to look at the person who's speaking more, and the reason why they do this is so that they can get more non-verbal communication clues from them. We know that non-verbal communication carries a lot of information, and we can often find the intended meaning and added value when we're looking at a person speaking for their non-verbal communication. Another reason why we might give eye contact or share an eye gaze is when we're just sharing an experience. So often you may have experienced moments where you've had a lovely experience sharing moment where you're laughing and you're having a lovely time, and that may be when your eyes meet, and that's the eye gaze that you share. There's no real purpose in that, it's just a nice look at us, we're having a great time moment. So those are the reasons why we might get eye contact. So keeping that in mind, it's important from this point on not to request or demand that your child looks at you. So if I were you, I would remove any look at me kind of language that you might be using, and stop demanding and requesting that your child look at you. When you do this, it can actually create an uncomfortable and unnatural stare or glance, and really it's not serving any purpose because the child's not getting any further information. They're just complying with what you've asked them to do. The best way really to work around this is to create opportunities for your child to gain information from your face, so information and meaning from your face. And one of the good things to do around this is to actually reduce the quantity of your verbal communication. When you reduce the quantity of your verbal communication, it means that your non-verbal communication, so your gestures, your facial expressions and your eye gaze, will give more meaning to that person. So those are some things to try and play around with. What I suggest you do is practice applying these tips for at least 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes of focus time a day, just to get used to changing this kind of communication. So because it can feel a little bit odd and a little bit weird if you're used to doing something in a certain way. So practice doing that, and then start to look for opportunities where you can transfer these tips and new experiences, transfer these to other opportunities that you can try to give your child practice and experience of. So there we are. There's a bit about eye contact. There's a lot of information there, and there may be some action that you want to take on different levels here. And I hope that it's useful. There's always loads of information out there, and you can always contact me if you need any more on this topic. So I'd love to hear how you get on. Always, you can always put it on my Facebook page and share your obstacles or any questions and progress, of course. I'd like to hear that. Or you can contact me directly at elisa@thinkautism.co.uk. Okay, take care.